And we are live. Welcome to the Political Orphans. My name is Nico and I am your in-house conservative. To my left, Rob Ambrose, our token liberal. Our goal is simple. We want to show you that it's possible for a lefty and a righty to not only get along, but to be able to have a civil conversation when we disagree. Because never forget, common sense has no political affiliations. Bro, don't open a fucking canner in the middle of the end.
Did you hear that?
Christ. Fucking my neighbor heard that. You fucking kidding me, asshole? Like, what the fuck, man?
That was being discreet. It's like trying to eat candy in church, right? You're crinkling the wrapper.
You know, I know Sylvie's not here, but I'm starting to agree with her that we need a mute button for your ass.
Not gonna happen, brother.
Yeah, there you go. Fuck you, muted. But at the same time, it doesn't say much because you can easily re-enable it. So, what's going on, bro? What's going on, wise guy? Bing, bing. Can't hear you. No, can't hear you anymore. So there is a button. Where's Sylvie?
Now can you?
Shit.
You got it. There it is.
Fucking tease. It was just a tease. Just a tease.
Yeah.
So what's going on, man?
Not too much, brother. What you got? Is that a regular hat or is it a merch hat? Is it Poli Orphans?
No, fuck no, man. This hat would be awesome. This is about the only brand I will accept to wear because it's Browning, and I own Browning firearms. Mm-hmm. Browning. I'll take a sponsorship. I fucking love your guns. Yeah, but I like black on black, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And because I don't have hair, and I don't have a massive forehead, most hats don't fit my head. They squish my ears.
Right. Yeah.
This one cost me about $60, give or take. And the only reason I really like it is because most people have no idea. Like 99% of people have no idea what this logo is.
I wouldn't know.
And I love the fact that it's black on black. But no. But I will look for a sponsorship now that we're talking about it. Come on, Browning.
Yeah. Wise guy, what's going on, man? So what do we got on the agenda today?
Yeah, man, there's a bunch of stuff. So we're going to be talking about, obviously, we're going to be talking about Pierre Poilievre and his comments wants a severe population limit, like population growth limit. He also is talking against the Carney government's gas vehicle ban by 2035.
That's wild, man.
Oh yeah, but that's been going on forever. They've been talking about this for a while. It's just that this week I have a video where his ministers are doubling down on it. So I'll show you what the video is. I also found a video. I haven't looked at it yet, but I've seen the people that are talking on the podcast, who they are. So I'm curious to see what they're talking about. But I found a video where they're saying that people were not ready for Pierre Poilievre. He did not get elected because Canadians weren't ready for him. So
he's just too much of a visionary. You know, we're not ready for him yet. We're not ready for him.
Exactly.
That's so ridiculous. He's the most basic fucking politician ever. That's his whole thing. Pam, how's it going?
What's going on, Pam? We definitely need to talk about the Air India Boeing crashing and ended up killing 242 people. But what's interesting is that I found a post that's going to fall into my wheelhouse of conspiracy theories.
Well,
there's a guy that talked about it.
Conspiracy theory on this? Because there's always is one, right? There's always a conspiracy theory.
Well, there's a guy that called it April last year. So I will show it to you. Great to see you as well.
Okay.
There's rumors that Gavin Newsom is going to run for president. So that's kind of why he's getting in arguments with Mr. Trump. Because
is it rumors or has he admitted it? Because I think we both said it months ago. Like I'm pretty sure 2028 is going to be Vance versus Newsom.
Vance versus Newsom with a VP of bartender. AOC, the bartender.
Yeah, and Vance's VP will be Florida governor.
Ron DeSantis.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Because I think DeSantis knows
I'll go for it.
He can't, I don't think he can beat Vance, at least right now. Like who knows?
No.
Like a lot can happen in 3 years. But right now, Vance would beat him. And maybe he thinks I'll be VP for two terms and then I'll get my shot. Because DeSantis, he wants to be president. He thinks he
got what it takes.
Yeah, he thinks he has what it takes.
Though, I would feel bad for Florida because, in my opinion, he's done a great fucking job throughout the lockdowns, throughout all the insanity that's been going on over the past 5 years. In my opinion, he's done a great job. So, yeah, it would suck for Florida. I don't know that he'd be the candidate to be president, but prove me wrong. But I think JD Vance is such a better option.
Yeah.
Way better option.
Yeah.
JD Vance is bad news. Hold on.
Chris
JD Vance is bad news. Apparently, he is shaped and molded by Peter Thiel and Palantir. That is a dangerous word right there, man.
Yeah, I mean, there definitely is a connection, a relationship between Vance and Thiel. I mean, I feel like with these things, like they're always hot and cold, right? Like look at Trump and Elon Musk; they were inseparable a couple months ago, and now look at them, right?
But Musk came back. And
yeah. I think he was someone I read somewhere. I think it came from like Trump's inner circle during the fight. Was saying he does a lot of drugs, and I believe it. Like I think his behavior strikes me as
but he's not normal, bro. He's not normal.
Not like fentanyl,
not
like fentanyl, but like something like Adderall or something that that like you can be highly productive. Not the kind of drugs that'll ruin your life, but yeah, I think they can. If you're going on like very little sleep, that seemed like a meltdown to me, and you can tell he regrets it.
But at the same time, man, don't be fooled. That guy's on the spectrum. If you've ever heard any interviews any clip of him for more than a minute at a time, you can tell that guy is some type of autism. He sits somewhere on the spectrum. But Chris H, man, thanks for the comment. And Palantir is something I need to put more time into investigating because it is scary as shit. But at the same time, it's interesting because there's a guy I absolutely love on Instagram. His name is Lenny Boy. And he releases a lot of videos that could be considered conspiracy theories, but he is normally extremely bang on, very well made videos. Like the guy's a very good speaker, good looking dude, like right in the middle. He talks against the Republicans, he talks against the Democrat, but he's very clean in the way that he presents his video. And funny enough, I had a video I wanted to show, one of the last videos that he's done about the LA riots. Yep. And the agenda, in his opinion, that's behind it. And you'll see that it connects with what he's seeing there. And I'll put it into perspective when I show the video. But thanks, Chris H, for talking about this, because Palantir would work to achieve what Lenny Boy is talking about in this video. And if you guys don't follow him on Instagram, fucking love Lenny Boy. Love his content. Very much so. Very good.
Just a quick add on to that. Yeah, I think it's certainly something worth keeping in your mind as the next couple of years play out, to see kind of how this relationship between them evolves. Like, is he just someone who has the ear of JD Vance, but like Vance is not beholden to him, or do we get the impression that Vance is actually beholden to him and Thiel is calling the shots, which would be a problem? Because I agree. I don't know a whole lot about it. And I think it's definitely worth doing a deep dive, but he's just one of those guys. What I do know, I like, he's into some weird shit. He just seems like one of those, classic cartoon, evil billionaire villains. Like, I don't know exactly what he's up to, but I feel like he's up to something. And I think if a politician was beholden to Peter Thiel, like if Peter Thiel was calling the shots, that would be a big concern to me. I don't know that that's the relationship he has with Vance. Just the fact that maybe he just donated a ton of money and Vance did the dog and pony show and did the photo ops and went and rubbed shoulders and shook babies and kissed hands and all that stuff. That I don't think that would be an issue, but yes, it's certainly something to keep an eye on. That's a good comment.
I just found as we're talking, because I need to do more research on Palantir because I come from that world, right? I come from the telecommunication world. I come from the data world. I come from analyzing data. And the biggest problems that you see is always, what do you do with all that data? It's easy. Like the NSA has been snooping.
What do they do with all that data? Yeah.
No, but not only that, how do you organize it in a way that a user can actually look at it and make sense of it? Think about Minority Report. You remember that, right?
Yep. Great movie.
There's cameras everywhere. Everybody's being snooped on. Like even the future, you're being charged on
for future crimes.
So,
yeah.
But if you break it down and you look at the technology that's there's cameras everywhere. That means there's a tremendous amount of data that's being produced. And when Tom Cruise starts causing problems, people in the back end starts looking at everything that he's done, everything that he's doing, where is he right now to predict where he's going to be. So what do you do with all of that data, right? Because that data is there. The NSA has been copying every single piece of content, every single piece of data that's been going through the US has been copied by the NSA. It's sitting on a server somewhere. This is not a conspiracy theory. We've known this in my world for more than 20 years. This is just since the Patriot Act, it basically opened that door to the NSA. But the thing that's always been a problem is there's so much data that generates so much data. And how do you organize it? Now with the power of AI, you are able to go through all of that data extremely fast. So if you have a software like what Palantir does to organize that data and present it to you in a way that makes sense, man, AI is changing the world. And this is one of the ways that this could bring in the next control phase of the powers that be. So I got a video. So again, thanks, Chris, for bringing that up, because it kind of fits into what I'm going to talk, as in it fits exactly. Lenny Boy doesn't go into the details that I'd like to just address, but he hints at it. And when you start thinking about Palantir, you start to see how it's possible for that to happen. So you know what, Chris? I think it's your first comment. I've never seen your name before. Bang.
I think Chris was here yesterday, but I think he's new, yeah.
And you know what? So he's basically saying, I heard about that on PBS. PBS. Do you mean PBD?
PBS,
like show.
Probably Frontline, the channel Frontline or something like that. They actually make really good documentaries.
Because I'm looking, I was just looking at a video from Patrick Bet-David talking about Palantir. So I'm like, did you meet PD? I can literally have it open on one of my screens. That's funny. I haven't watched it, but as I was looking for Palantir, it came up, and PBD released a video about that yesterday, about the Trump-Musk feud and what's Palantir's role in a controversial data sharing executive order. Because this is, man, the door that it opens, it's fucking scary. And now that we're talking about it, I'm going to ask you a question afterwards. Once I show you the Lenny Boy video, how this could apply to Canada. Because you'll understand when I get there. I wanted to talk about RFK. RFK has basically gutted the CDC and is starting to put back people in place. One of them that I know, absolutely love that guy. So I want to talk about that. I want to talk about Australia saying that they're going to ban knives. And, oh man, this is, and if we have the time, there's a couple more things I wanted to bring up.
That's like saying, the criminal wore shoes on his way to the crime. So let's ban shoes. Ban shoes. Get shoes. If he didn't have shoes, he wouldn't do it. It's so ridiculous.
I wanted to show a post about Canadians leaving Canada.
Okay.
And I have a video that's hopefully we keep it for the end about it's I believe it was CBC that was talking about, but they basically blame Trump once again for our prices. It's the funniest thing ever, but it's they haven't stopped. They're still blaming Trump for everything. So as you can see, there's a lot of shit on the show today. So maybe we should get started. But before we do, I want to ask you guys a question. Because as you'll see for the thumbnail of this video, it's basically the picture of Pierre Poilievre with immigration data and the ban that the Liberals want to put in place on gas-powered vehicles. But is it too little too late? Because since he kind of disappeared after the election and now he seems to be talking every now and then, is he still fucking relevant? Is it too little too late? That's the question I have for the conservatives out there. Do you think that Pierre Poilievre is trying too much right now? He missed his chance, and
it's funny. Like I said yesterday, it's almost like he watched the show, because we had this big rant. We had this big rant last week about where the fuck is this guy, and now he's out there. But what's interesting is I have noticed like Canadian conservatives on social media, there does seem to be a bit of a vibe shift. People who are saying, okay, I supported him after the election, but like what the fuck? I haven't seen him. Like he's not relevant. Every day that goes by, he's just not relevant. So it'd be interesting to see if that picks up steam.
Yeah, I think you're bang on, and I don't like it. I don't like somebody that should be in the news day in, day out, always talking, always being in front of the camera. And if you're not at Parliament because you can't enter it because you don't have a fucking job,
he literally cannot enter it, like, legally. I guess he's just a civilian, right? Yeah.
He's just a civilian, and he gets access to places that you and I don't get access to because he's still
he still has
leader.
that government funded house
and pension.
Yep.
And pension.
Yep.
And pension.
Yeah.
So yeah. So let's start with Pierre Poilievre. So Pierre Poilievre made some comments. I believe that it was yesterday, where at least people are starting to speak about it, because if you look at when I was looking earlier, the word Pierre was trending on X.
What is it?
Pierre, as in Pierre Poilievre, and a bunch of different stuff that he's talking about. So there was, I got a video here of Pierre Poilievre saying, and this was posted actually 2 days ago. It was posted on June 10th, where he wants to severely limit population growth in Canada. But before I play the video, can you guys tell me if you can still hear Rob in an echo when I bring something on the screen? Because it's very strange. I was editing the content this morning, and it's true. It is so fucking annoying, but it doesn't do it on me. So I know it's not the platform. So
I actually forgot to check the
what I
echo
told
thing.
you.
Yeah. Wow. I was in a rush there. I'll just jump out now and recheck.
No, you don't need to. Just go at the bottom where it says settings. If you go to settings at the bottom, go audio.
Oh, edit mic settings.
Yep. It should give you echo cancellation and reduce mic background noise.
Yep. Okay. They're both there. All right. So we'll see.
Were they there before?
They were there when I opened them, but I don't know if they were yesterday. I don't know. We'll try. I'll just make a comment here when it starts, and if not, I mean, I'll just make a habit of not talking during videos.
No, I'll try. There's different ways I can share. I'll try to just share one single tab because it actually does something different. So they made an update on the software, so I know it's not. I don't believe that it's you. But even just right now, if I add it, just speak for now.
Like this. So like I can't hear it now. And normally I can hear it when there is the echo.
Okay, so
but you guys, Wise Guy says he'll tell us.
Cool. So here you go. Here's Pierre Poilievre telling us how he wants to severely limit population growth in Canada.
Border security bill that was tabled last week, Bill C2. You haven't offered your views on it. Can you give us?
Well, we support a stronger border. We want severe limits on population growth to reverse the damage the Liberals did to our system. The population has been growing out of control. Our borders have been left wide open. This has caused the free flow
where
of drugs,
was this?
Human trafficking, illegal migration, and much worse. And that is why we want a stronger border. We want to crack down on abuses in the immigration system. And we want to ensure that any frauds in the refugee system are reversed.
I mean, the energy was trash. Like, I hate the energy, but at least the words, the rhetoric is what was needed. Where was that during the election? I wonder. I bet you he would have won if he spoke like that.
I've said this before, man, and as Wise Guy is saying right now, this show would be a good one for Pierre Poilievre to watch if he really wants to know what we think. And I agree with you. It is very interesting that we talk about stuff on the show, and then it seems like he implements them the day or 2 days afterwards.
Yeah.
But but what's interesting though is that I create enough content that my content is in front of millions of people. So I wouldn't put it past us that, and I'm not saying that it's because of us, but I wouldn't be surprised that some people see that and are just like, yeah, maybe he should do that.
Yeah.
Because you don't know.
Put it in front of them or something like that.
The content creators in Canada are not that big. And considering I have personally just me about 200,000 followers, that's on par with some of the biggest accounts in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my point, right? We don't have the population that the US would have. And just Pierre Poilievre only has like 1.4 million followers. Like Carney has 700,000 followers on X. So it's not that much when you think about it, right? So
yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if some of our content does reach some of those ears, because I know I'm followed by conservative candidates that didn't win.
Yeah,
but
I mean, it's it's stuff gets out there. Like I don't think Poilievre himself is watching us live here from 12 to 2, but some of the clips and reels, because you made some reels there about that issue. This where the fuck is he? That
we did a full video on
the full episode with the where's Pierre with the where's Waldo thing, and that's done well. Hey, Angry Beaver, how's it going?
Yeah, what's going on, man?
Good morning.
But I agree with you, man. It's one of those things where, to me, it's just too little, too late. Like the energy's not even there.
Like look at the energy there. I wouldn't even like, and I'm more of a outside observer, right? I don't have a dog in the fight. I'm not a conservative, even though I did vote for them in the election. Just as an observer, I wouldn't even say it's too little, too late. But you got to come in hard. You got to come in hot. That energy there, like, yeah, okay, it's funny. Like before, maybe he had like good energy, but he wasn't saying the right things. Now he's saying the right things, and his energy's trash. But brother, just put it together. Like it's not hard. It almost feels like he doesn't actually believe this shit, right? Like his advisors are finally saying, "No, you got to speak out about this." He's like, "Okay, fine, I will." But it sounded like he just took some downers.
I agree with PB in Alberta saying, or Pam saying that. Sorry, that's not the right one. Angry Beaver is saying 12 in chat. Why only 4 likes? Get it on. Get it, y'all.
Angry Beaver,
guys. And I agree with you guys. 1,000% I agree. Hit smash that smash button.
Like it. Yeah, that's the best way you can support us. And if you really want to support, you can of course be a member. You can support the channel, buy us a coffee once a month for the low price of $2.99. It will give you access to the Discord server, but the biggest thing is just that you get to support independent media here. If you feel like there's need for this kind of non-biased media, actually I wouldn't even say non-biased, it's just we're at least honest about our biases.
Definitely biased.
Yeah. We're honest about our biases, right? We're not going to lie to you.
Independent media. I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't know. I feel like it's accurate.
No, I'm gonna change my name on Instagram to independent reporter.
Almost
and
like
it feels
like
weird. I'm like
reluctant, like we're being dragged into a kicking and screaming. But the media has dropped the ball so hard over the last 10, 20 years. I mean, they've got no one to blame but themselves.
I totally agree. And by the way, I was having a conversation with Rob this morning. So for the people that are listening, if you're on Next right now, I highly invite you to join the conversation on YouTube. And as you can see at the bottom right, this is the conversation. It always is going and going and going. This is where the conversation takes place. And yes, if you participate in the membership on YouTube for $2.99 a month, it will give you access to the members only Discord server. But this morning, as I was walking my dog, I realized that most people don't fucking access Discord. And the whole point of me creating the Discord server was to kind of have a place where you guys can participate, because the show is extremely audience driven. We want you to be able to have a say in the show and the topics that we talk about, and keep us up to date on the news too, because I try to get my news from everywhere. I'm always doing research, but that doesn't mean I don't miss stuff, because I will miss stuff. There's no questions about it. So if you're on X, I created a community attached to the Poli Orphan account, the Poli Orphans on X. I created a community on there, and the whole point is for you guys to share what you think we should be talking about. It's your chance to influence the show, and we will give you credit. Whatever we use from that channel, from that community, just like we do in the Discord server, we'll give references as to who presented the subject. And if you're not on X and you don't want to join the Discord server, I also have a community on my Instagram account at Real Nico Lagan, and it's the same thing. The whole point is just to give you a place where you can share what you think we should talk about. So it doesn't matter that it's on X, doesn't matter that it's on Instagram. You can join the Discord server, but wherever it is, we want you to get involved. At the end of the day, this is the whole point of this show. That's why we do it live. Woo! Sorry, done.
Yes. Nice.
Goddamn.
Good one. Goddamn.
Goddamn. But just going back to Pierre Poilievre and why the thumbnail for today is it too little too late? And it seems I'm not the only one that thinks that, because a friend of the show, Chris Erickson, even posted a couple of days ago on his post saying, where was this over the 3 years he was campaigning? Controlled opposition, snake in a suit. And, I read things like that and I fully understand, because I personally believe he was controlled opposition. The more it goes, the more he's irrelevant, and he's not helping his cause at all. He's not making it any better. And your point to say that his energy wasn't there, like it seemed like he needed a nap. Maybe you needed a power nap before your press conference, Brett. Like, just say.
He did. He really seemed like low energy.
Because you're looking at the comments. The fraud hired the Trilateral Commission member to a shadow cabinet. Like, it's not. Pierre has shifted a bit, understandably so. We need an immigration that is cohesive, not divisive. Yeah, fuck that noise. We don't need a cohesive immigration. We need to fucking put a stop to it and reassess it for a couple of years so that we can give a break to our housing. We can give a break to our social services like healthcare, and stop fucking allowing leeches to take advantage of our social services, considering they've never participated in it. So it's not that fucking complicated.
Yeah,
but it's just, you look at the comment, people are just ripping into him. Oh, this is great. Oh, you want to control opposition? You want to control immigration? Sure. Why the fuck do you keep on pandering to Indians and pandering to Muslims? And they're not wrong.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, I like, I've come around to the idea, like you were just talking about, which I first heard for the first time when we had Maxime Bernier on the show.
First heard for the first time. Oh,
first heard for the first time. You know me.
Robbie's back at it.
Yeah, back at her. When we had Bernier on the show, and he was saying that, I remember thinking a bit extreme. Just like
fucking racist. That's what you were thinking.
No. But I was saying it seems a bit extreme. But I especially after I clarified, I was like, so you're not opposed to all immigration at all times. Like, he's like, no, I just want to take a pause for a year or two, figure out what's going on, figure out what our needs are. And I really think we should do a deep dive, like figure out where our needs are in what industry, right? Come up with a number. We need 5,000 skilled workers that are fucking software engineers. 2,000, whatever the fuck. I have no, whatever it is. I think that's probably the best thing to do. Phoenix, how's it going? I believe this is a. Oh yeah, I recognize that picture. Glad to see you back.
Hey Phoenix, I'm Canada too. That's not a retarded accent. I'm actually French, so I'm from Quebec as well. Chris H, I'm not sure what he means. Can you explain what you mean by personally Yuri Bezmenov is suspicious?
So I think he's first referring to Angry Beaver says we need an episode of Rob reacting to Yuri Bezmenov. Watch his brain go boom. I'd actually like that. I think that would be cool. I know enough about him to know that it'd be pretty interesting. I know what he's about, but I've never actually heard him. And then Chris H is saying he finds Bezmenov suspicious. How do you mean, Chris? So I mean, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but he is a Soviet defector in like the 70s or 80s who came over to the West and kind of spilled the beans about all the active measures and propaganda techniques that Soviet propagandists were using to like weaken the West from the inside. like mask, mind control, that kind of stuff. Is that more or less what he's about?
And I agree with Angry Beaver. The world is suspicious. LOL. I agree. It's not. To me, Yuri Bezmenov rang like he just showed what was wrong before we started seeing what was wrong. So to say suspicious or not, let's not forget. I believe he was a KGB agent.
Yeah.
So...
maybe he's part of it, right? Maybe he's part of it. That would be quite the.
Never forget what Karl Marx said. Accuse your opposition of doing what you're doing as you're doing it to cause confusion. Yeah. So never forget that is 101 plan right there. So, I wonder if this is not an opinion that a lot of people have. Pam is saying you guys need to get over the idea that these politicians really offer choices to voters. They're all in on it. Well, you really don't know me well, because I know that I don't have any respect for politicians in the first place. To me, if you're a politician or you want to be in politics, I stop trusting you right there. You're going to have to show me that you have good intent, because they don't. And if you look at the psychology behind the people that are interested in politics, they're normally narcissists, and they're people that will do shit for themselves. They don't really they're not in there to make the world a better place. You should not want to be a politician because it's going to cost you time. It's going to cost you money. It's going to stress the shit out of you. You should not be worth more money by the time you're done than when you started. You should be be worth less.
So ridiculous. Money. That's so ridiculous. And it's just such an obvious. There's no obvious answer. There's no simple answer that could ever explain it innocently.
And Pam is right. Left and right, just opposite side of the same coin. I agree. And we're the one getting fucked.
Yep.
Because, and again, Pierre Poilievre to me is the perfect example. He doesn't stand for anything. And when he tries to stand for something, he can't even convince. He doesn't even seem convinced himself of what he's saying. Like, that was not a convincing speech. Like, he's just, oh, yeah, we need to.
No, I couldn't believe that. Energy was so. I don't know if it was to do with the topic, or if it's just, I don't know, maybe something going on in his personal life or something, but he was not.
Oh, yeah. Really stressed by his job. Oh,
yeah.
Sorry. Oh, sorry.
He's exhausted from doing nothing. It's just exhausted from doing nothing all day.
He's bummed out from spending too much time on the couch watching Netflix. Like, come on, man. Like, at least make it believable. And he doesn't even seem to believe it. So I completely agree. Chris H is saying that Bezmenov was a former KGB agent. Yeah, that's exactly what he was. How is a former KGB agent allowed to talk to the American and Canadian public without being handled by the CIA? Oh, bro, this is the problem with conspiracy theories. Once you see one, you can see them everywhere. They're everywhere. So it's either there's none or they're everywhere, and neither is good. You need to be able to laugh at that, because at the end of the day, like, there's a good reason why I have a tinfoil hat in the background there, because I don't feel like wearing it every single second of this show, because it's not that comfortable. But and plus, I look like a fucking idiot on Reels. But
I mean, I feel like it's true. Yeah, you would, especially if you didn't have the part where you put it on. It's just you there.
It's just me all the whole time. Half hours.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I see Chris's point, and I guess, it's useful to sort of always be questioning. But I mean, I could see why the American government would, let's say he was a legitimate defector who would say, oh, well, let's have him tell the public about some of the tactics and techniques that the Soviets are using against them. Like, I don't see that as that crazy. It could also be, I guess, one giant psyop. But yeah, that's kind of why I don't like them. Like, kind of what you said, because like once you go down them, like, nothing makes sense. It's so hard to anchor yourself to anything solid, because everything can, like, nothing feels real, and everything can. I don't know. I feel like at some point you just have to be like, okay, I don't know. Like, I just can't assume that. But I get the appeal of them for sure, and some of them are definitely correct. There's no doubt about that.
The thing is that we live in a place that is controlled by very evil men. No questions about it. I have no questions that I know it to be true. Just look around you. People are selfish. People don't care. So would it be surprising that once you rise to the top, you don't see me as your equal? Because that was a great speech that was given by a reporter that was good friends with one of the Rothschilds. And that's what he was saying. He's like, listen, bro, we don't see you as equals. Like, you're talking about arguably the most powerful family in the world.
We all know that they don't.
No,
Most
but
people do not.
No, but the point is that it's one thing to say this, but once you start understanding, what are you ready to do to an end? It's not a consideration in your mind. Like, if it's better for you, but you have to kill a few ants in order to get there, do you really give a fuck?
Oh, yeah,
no,
of course.
So imagine what's possible for human beings that don't see you as an equal. Then the door is wide open. Then everything you see around you is possible. But at the same time, what's the point of living if you're unhappy about everything that you see? So there's one thing, understanding that, yes, there's a lot of evil men that are in power, shouldn't take away from the fact that you're still blessed to be here. There's still great things that happens in your life every day, and you choose to be destroyed by the evil or just decide to be good. Because technically, man, I believe most conspiracy theories out there because I've proven them for myself. I've done the research to see. But that will never stop me from waking up happy, because I know at the end of the day, it's still a beautiful life. And I always keep in mind what Alan Watts said years and years ago. Be like a joker. Understand that this life is all a fucking joke, and you might as well laugh at it, because one day you're going to die, you're going to meet your maker, and all of this is not going to be relevant anymore. So might as well enjoy the trip, or else what's the fucking point?
Yeah, no, it's a good way to look at it. Time Cats, just want to take this one because I believe this is a new commentator. It says 280,000 asylum claims approved up to April. I'll have to check on Nico. Can you check on those numbers? But if that is true, that seems very high. But I feel like no matter what the number is, it's going to be too high. But Time Cat, appreciate the comments. Hopefully you stick around.
Actually, I think she made a mistake because the number I'm seeing right now is as of May 24th, the first quarter of 2025. Canada received 28,880 asylum.
I wonder if what she heard was like, we're on track to do 280 by the end of the year or something, which would still be really high, frankly. Maybe claims. Maybe something like that.
Yeah. But I've seen the numbers and they were high. No matter what, they're way too.
We looked at the Liberals' own numbers. Yeah, we looked at the Liberals' own numbers like a couple weeks ago, and I think like all told, everything, it was like 700,000 new bodies, and that's just way too high. I don't care who it is.
I agree. Totally agree with you.
I'll take a few of these comments here. Wise Guy says the system doesn't work and has never worked. We need to see the end of these idiots who know nothing ruling over us. Yeah, I mean,
wrong. The system works exactly as intended. It's just it's not supposed to work for you and I.
No,
there's a big club that we're not part of.
Yeah.
That sounds bad when you say.
Time Cat says that could have been 280,000 addicted and homeless Canadians housed and supported financially to sobriety, not random ignorance. Yeah, again, even if the 280,000 number isn't 100% correct, it's still way too high. And your comment here still stands. Whatever the number is, that is, money and services that could have been used to help homeless people that already live here. We do not need to 100%. Import people from other countries to work at fucking Tim Hortons and then have us pay half of their salary so that Tim Hortons, the American company, can make more profit because they pay their employees $7 an hour because Canadian government, i.e. us, is paying the other $8 an hour. Meanwhile, our 15, 16, 17-year-old sons and daughters are unable to get work like we could get when we were kids, because why the fuck would they be hired? Because they would have to pay them the full 16, 15, whatever minimum wages. So, I mean, that's, it's all one giant scam, and, it's working against us. It's, it's like I had said last week, like our immigration system now is like the Canadian people exist to make the immigration system work, when that's completely backwards. The immigration system should exist to help the Canadian people, not the Canadian people exist to help the immigration system. But right now, that's how they've got it.
But before you go to the next one, this is something that I was seeing popping on my feed a few days ago. But this is where it's fucking crazy. Did you know that established immigrants achieve a 69.7% home ownership rate compared to 61.9% for Canadian-born citizens? So immigrants have more immigrants have houses that own their houses in Canada,
and that's probably
than
because all the
Canadian-born.
incentives that they get to own.
But not only, but I'm ready to bet that 61.9% is because of the boomers. So imagine, I would love to see those same numbers, because right now the numbers are showing that immigrants have a higher rate of home ownerships than Canadian-born, which that tells you right then and there that there's a massive amount of problems here. There's a fucked up problem that needs to be addressed. But I think it's even worse than what they say, because we all know that the highest amount of people, Canadians, like Canadian-born, that own houses in Canada is boomers. So I would be curious to see what it is if you remove the boomers and you just concentrate on the 55 and below. You do a straight comparison between 55 and below immigrants, 55 and below Canadians, and what's the rate. But obviously they're never going to show you that fucking number, because that would piss off pretty much every single fucking Canadian out there.
Oh yeah, 100%. Let me see here.
I love when those conversations evolve like that on things that I did not plan to talk about.
Well, I mean, that's one of the great things about the show is you never know what we're going to talk about, and really, so many of these conversations get directed by the comments. So I mean, if there's a direction that you want it to go, you just throw a comment in there, and we're going to run with it.
So if you're on next, make sure to join the conversation on YouTube.
Yes, that's our propaganda, our subliminal messaging. Go to YouTube. Go to YouTube. Yep. Angry Beaver says, actually, if you think about it logically, then allowing Yuri to speak would later create a scapegoat to blame the decline on if the government gets caught on the plan. I mean, yeah, it could be
never
that,
ends, bro.
And it could absolutely not be that. It could be a million other things. That's what I mean. Like, it's sort of like thinking about infinity. You know what I mean? Like your mind just can't grasp or like grab onto anything solid. And yeah, at some point you just have to either just kind of like step away from it, like I do, or lean into it like Nico does, but just have that mindset of, it's all just a joke, and it's a beautiful life, and who gives a shit who's trying to kill you right now.
A lot of people out there are like, we shouldn't have kids because it's hard to have kids in this climate. How am I supposed to raise children in this type of climate? And I look at this, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me, man? I will show my son what it is to be a man.
Well, yeah.
Because of this climate. The next generation is going to be
more effective. It'll be more effective because of the climate.
No, more than that. It needs to be, the next generation of men needs to step up to the plate like they did 80 years ago, like they did 100 years ago. Because now most of our men are weak and they don't stand up for shit. So I will make sure that my son knows what to stand up for, and he understands how to do it, that he's courageous. But you need hard times in order to create hard men, because good times create weak men. And the cycle goes on and on. As Angry Beaver is saying, except our government is using the plan and not Russia. Well, this is the thing. I've said this many times on other content where, 1984, the book by George Orwell, was meant as a warning, not a strategy. It was not meant for the government to say, oh, shit. Some good ideas right there, bro. And yeah, unfortunately, it seems that that's what's happening.
Timecat says, at least we aren't at the UK's level of Islamic replacement. I love moderate Muslims. Islam is demonic. Yeah, I mean, the UK is really fucked with that shit, man. Have you seen? I saw this thing on the other day on X. I wish I'd saved it, but it was like a list of all the mayors of most of major UK cities. And like, these are major cities. Obviously, at the top is London, but like, many of them are like Muslim mayors, and not even like, westernized, like full on fucking like tribal garb, like Afghani or Pakistani, tribal leaders as mayors. It's like, holy hell, man, that is in fucking insane. Well, it's bad. Now they're arresting people and locking people up for tweeting about it, right? There's all kinds of cases of people who are getting, visits at 2 or 3 a.m. by 4 cops because of a tweet that they made saying, you know, some of them were like one of them was this guy saying, I don't want my money. He tweeted, I don't want our tax dollars to go towards foreign child molesters. He got visited by the cops and they made him delete it under threat of arrest. It's like, really? Who the fuck does? I don't want my money going to foreign child molesters either. I don't want it going to domestic child molesters, but it isn't. But it is going to the foreign ones. That's why I'm not speaking out about the domestic ones. And yeah, actually, yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly what.
Bro, that's what I do. I'm a researcher at the end of the day, but the mayor of London is Muslim. The mayor of Birmingham is London. The mayor is Muslim. The mayor of Leeds is Muslim. The mayor of Blackburn is Muslim. The mayor of Sheffield, Oxford, Luton, Oldham, Rochdale. All of this achieved by only 4 million Muslims out of 66 million people in England.
It's a political movement. It's not just a
But
religion.
hold on. Today, there's more than 3,000 mosques in England. There's over 130 Sharia courts, 50 Sharia councils. 78% of Muslims women do not work, receive state support plus free accommodation. 63% of Muslims.
That's wild.
78. 63% of Muslims do not work, receive state support plus free housing.
Why? Like, what benefit does that have to the UK? Like, what are they fucking
the
thinking?
same? But the same thing is happening here. Don't be fooled.
Oh, it's starting. Yeah, it's not as bad, but it's starting.
That's why. Yeah, sure.
We need to be
speaking.
That's why we need. Well, it's not as bad as the UK, but we need.
Brother,
to be...
they're saying that this is happening with 4 million Muslims out of 66. Do you know how many Muslims are here? Right now, they represent 5% of the population. So 5% of 40 million, do the math, that's 2 million.
Oh yeah,
we have
that's what I mean. We're on the way. But like it isn't as bad as the UK. It's just not. But it's okay. It's okay to say that. Yeah.
Not yet.
Yeah, and that's why it's important to speak up here. Whenever you're done with that, I want to show, because it's basically all the names you just listed.
But hold on, just see this. This is the part that should scare every single person out there. State-supported Muslim families with an average of 6 to 8 children receive free accommodation. And those are the numbers I keep on seeing everywhere. The average Canadian will produce about 1.8, 1.9 children per family.
Mm-hmm.
Muslims on average are about at 8.
Well,
so if you want to know how to replace, oh yeah.
And he's like, you guys aren't even having kids. We're having kids. We're gonna take over, right in your face. But he was like telling us how he was from Canada too. He's saying how they're gonna take over. Like, this is what happened when they're only 2-3% of a country. It's all tolerance and love and diversity, and then as it gets higher and higher, the tolerance goes away, and that's just factual. People are like, oh, it's racist. No, this fucking understanding history. Look at what happened to Lebanon. That is an absolute textbook scenario of what is going on in the West right now.
But you know what the problem is? Now that you're mentioning it, because I have a lot of friends, a lot of people that I know left Lebanon when the Muslims took over. Basically, they left when the war started, and they ended up in Canada. But when this happens 20 years from now, 15 years from now, where the fuck are Canadians supposed to go? Because Europe is being taken over. Where are we supposed to go? South America?
Yeah, there's nowhere to go.
The Lebanese had a place to run. Where do we run if this becomes the situation?
Yes, you're right. The Lebanese went to the West. They often went to Canada, and they often went to Quebec, Montreal. A large number of them.
Yeah, because a lot of them speak French, right?
Yeah, that's right.
But where the fuck are we supposed to go?
Well, there isn't. That's why we need to fight. We need to just actually speak up. Look at the. It's another aspect that is not much discussed. Is the rate of cousin marriage in many of these countries. I saw this clip on Rogan, and it is insane. It's just part of the culture, right? It is that they marry cousins, and that has all kinds of implications for like things like IQ and just. I saw a picture of a British Pakistani family, and it was a mother and a father, and they had 5 disabled kids. Like, they were all like super fucked up, couldn't, you know what I mean? Like, and like, you can't have a society like that, man. can you let me see, just add the stage. Yeah, look at this. So this is the rate of first cousin marriage around the world. The West is less than 1%. Pakistan 65%, Saudi Arabia 50%, Afghanistan 40%, Iran 30%, Egypt 20%. Rural areas, Pakistan is up to 80%. What do all these countries have in common? Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, Afghanistan, Iran, Egypt, Turkey. Like, it's part of the culture. And it's okay if they want to do that in their country. But it's okay for us to say, we have values here. Marrying your cousin is not one of our values. Like, there's actual real reasons why not to. But the point is, we shouldn't have to justify it. That's just how things are. That's how we are. Like, that's how our society is. And if you want to move here, you need to adapt to our values, our culture, our society. And if you look at this post here, I see this clip is from an article. It says marriages between cousins could be banned in the UK. And I remember this article. This is from like maybe a year ago. And all the fucking libs were screaming racism, banning first cousin marriage is racist, because we all know who's marrying, which cousins are marrying. So like, it's something that's wrong. It's being done and it's harmful. It's harmful to the kids. It's harmful to society. But because it's done by a very specific demographic that is a favored identity group in the hierarchy of oppression, and the woke lib retarded fucking identity politics game, we can't talk about it. We can't do anything about it. And it's it's ridiculous. And to the extent that people need to start talking about it, like we're doing right now. And the other thing I wanted to show you is,
but I don't know what it's going to take for Canadians to wake the fuck up, though, because it's everywhere. Like, I'm from Montreal, the second largest population of Muslims in Canada. Yep. And we're talking about something like 300,000 of them right here, and about 600,000 of them in Toronto. So between the two regions. And yet they take over streets to pray. They have all the mosques in the world where they can go pray. Yet they do it as a power of force. And nobody out there can convince me as a Christian that they don't do it on purpose.
Oh, of course,
because they do it right on one of the nicest fucking churches in Canada is right here.
Not a coincidence.
You think that they're doing it on there? It's a coincidence that they keep on praying almost every weekend in front of the church? Of course not. They do it on purpose, and they show up there with speakers. And we all know that if I did the same, if a bunch of Christians and a bunch of my friends would go in front of a mosque with fucking speakers and starting praying for Jesus Christ, Jesus would be shut down right there. It would last. I think I wouldn't even have the time to plug in the speaker.
No. You'd be wiped the fuck out. And
it wouldn't even be them. It would be the police.
They're enforcers. That clip that you had shared the other day on X, where it was the Muslims praying in front of Notre Dame, or is that what it is in Montreal? Is that what it's called? The big cathedral. And now the cathedral was fighting back a little. They were ringing their bells really loudly, and I guarantee you, people on the left were saying, "Oh, how wrong that is," and how they're just trying to pray. Like, shut the fuck up. They're fucking spitting in our eye. They are there with a show of force, dominating us. We are allowed to say no. We are allowed to not, be forced to be insulted and shit on in our own house, in our own communities. You cannot. The whole point of a diverse society, which we obviously have, is you cannot have favored identity groups. You cannot allow one group to do something while the other cannot. That will just destroy society. It'll rip us apart at the seams. One
of the things, though, is it done on purpose? Because that's a big question. Because you know what? Let me play something for you guys, like I talked about.
All right, I'll take this down right quickly, but so you can play your thing. But I just wanted to explain what this is briefly. All the names you listed, these are who they are. These are the mayors of all these major cities in the UK. Like, these are not westernized. These are like straight from the fucking the tribe. You know what I mean? The like Muslims. Like, these are not people who are pushing for tolerance and liberal and Western values.
No. And it's all we're doing. We're letting that happen. But,
Yep.
you know, I saw this video from, let me share this. I saw this video from Lenny Boy on Instagram, which I absolutely love this guy. A lot of the things that he says, I don't agree with. Like, it's just divergence of opinion, which is totally normal. But this one, in my opinion, is bang on. And this goes back to what Chris was saying. This goes back to Bill C2. This goes back to what's going on in Canada between with the Muslims taking over.
Yep.
Is it done on purpose? Listen to this.
There is a hidden agenda behind the LA riots. They are funded, just like the BLM riots were funded, all by the same NGOs. The same NGOs that opened the borders across Europe. What do you think is going to happen when you bring in millions of illegal immigrants with a different belief system, with different values, and mix them together with patriots in a struggling economy? What do you think is going to happen when the media keeps saying on one hand how patriots are oppressive, and on the other hand how immigrants are raising the crime statistics? It will build hatred and resentment between us. And we're falling for it. We must understand the hidden agenda. And that hidden agenda is a digital ID, social credit score, surveillance state. And the only way to bring it in is to keep us divided and create these crises. They own both sides of the conflict and they need us to pick a side. But what if we don't? And what happens when we all become aware of how we're being manipulated? Then this circus will have no choice but to die on its own.
So think about it this way. So you understood what he said. He's talking about the LA riots, saying that they're pinning two different identity group against together. Like they're pinning two groups against each other. The people that are patriots and illegal immigrants, and then the left is defending the illegal immigrants. Look at what's going on in Canada with the Muslim population. We talk against it as in, you know what, guys? You have mosques that you can go to and pray. You don't get... You shouldn't be able to close down streets like Bloor and Yonge, the busiest intersection in Canada, just to pray. I don't get to do that as a Christian. You shouldn't be able to go on church's parking lot and basically pray there. That's a show of force, plain and simple. And then you look at Bill C2, that is a surveillance bill, as John Carpe is saying, that they're using the immigration, because remember, Bill C2 is supposed to be about immigration. So they seem to be talking about immigration to say we need to put a stop to it. But in order to do that, we need to be able to open your mail. We need to be able to restrict transaction above $10,000. We need to be able to spy on you in order to put that in place. And then you talk, as Chris H. was talking about earlier, that Palantir in the US, he's talking about social credit score, which can be implemented using Palantir. So you're starting to look that in North America, in the US, it's more Mexicans that are the enemy, if you will, illegal immigration. Here in Canada, it seems more like Muslims. Is it possible that they're just doing it on purpose and they're just trying to pin each other against one another so that we give them exactly what they want, more control? Because how many people will call the digital ID that the US wants to put in place as the solution to prove who's American and who isn't? But by implementing that, you're basically giving your rights to your government. Everything is now digitalized. It's no longer based on just an ID. You need a digital ID. So what's the next step? No more money. Everything's going to be digital currency. So do you see, like, you listen to guys like him, which I agree with what he's saying 100%. But you look at what he said, the way he presented, he doesn't sound like a conspiracy theorist as bad as I sound. But can you really argue what he said in that video and tell me that those are not massive coincidences if you still don't believe that?
Well, I mean, I think I don't necessarily. I mean, he certainly presented himself well. I think it was, there wasn't a whole lot of facts. It was just sort of opinions and pointing things out, and it was not. It was interesting things he was pointing out for sure. And I think we can definitely and we do sort of have those sorts of disagreements. But I think at the end of the day, the one thing that we all agree on here is, regardless of the intentions, whether it's just terrible policies gone wrong or an agenda, it's wrong and it's bad and we need to stop it. And that's the most important thing. But I agree, it's an interesting, I think there is certainly agendas going on. one thing, like when I hear stuff like the social credit score thing, like clearly there are people out in the world who want those things. I mean, China has one. But like, I always, a lot of conspiracy theories, the ones that I kind of look a little side-eye at, it's where it's like, there's always people who are doing evil things, and there's not an obvious point. It's just to be evil, sort of like a cartoon villain.
Control? No, but it's control. It's all about control, bro.
Well, yeah, but it makes sense in a communist government to have a social credit score because President Xi, for all he knows, he's going to be president for the rest of his life, and it's a dictatorship. And they need that control in a sort of a government like ours, where it's constantly changing. The incentives are not quite the same. I'm not saying that
it's constantly changing. It hasn't changed in more than 10 years, bro.
Well, I mean, like the people, are the president's not the same president as it was. It was
no, but you're talking about you're talking about the US. We're talking about Canada. Canada, we're on our path to a socialist country. Like the social credit score. 100%.
Do you think Canada? I don't think Canada's doing anything unique or different in the world. I do think there's forces going on at play in the world right now, and I think it's all over the West. I don't think Canada's like in charge or leading the way. Even let's say we agree for the sake of this argument that there's this agenda and that they're pushing it for the social credit score and all that stuff. I don't think this is Canadian led. I think we're just going along because it's happening all over the West.
No, absolutely not. So let me put it this way. Mark Carney in his book is literally saying that our financial system should be based on our values as in what we believe in. The value that we put on currency should be based on what that money is meant to do, which should be aligned with our values. This is why he loves climate change, because he's able to blame it for whatever the fuck he wants. And he has said it himself that he wants the financial decisions to be taken with a climate change perspective, to keep that in mind on everything. That means that just like the woke ideology is not a mistake, it's done on purpose because it gets to change based on whatever the fuck you're feeling. This is the big problem when you look at woke ideology. They took Marxism that was based on haves and have-not, which is physical, is something you could hold. Back then, it was money. You either had some or you didn't. That's what Karl Marx was talking about. Put more money in the pocket of the people that produce wealth, which are the workers. That's all Karl Marx wanted at the end of the day, but that's very communistic because he wants the power. The power always ends up in a very small amount of hands, right? It doesn't matter that it's capitalism, if it's socialism or it's capitalism. It's just that in capitalism, technically, you and I have a chance to be that person because we can build ourselves up. In communism, we don't have that chance. It's only the government or the big brother that's in power. But this is where we're going right now. Like over the past 10 years, we have less and less rights. Like, look at what happened during the lockdowns. They literally locked and freeze people's bank account because they disagreed with the government. We were not violent. I was there. I was at the convoy. There was no violence there at all. The only violence I saw is when the RCMP showed up. That's when it became violent. Prior to that, there was no violence whatsoever. So they have shown us that they will shut you down if you don't agree with them. Then they tried to pass Bill B63, which didn't work. It died because our government was shut down for 5 months. People forget this, but from December 17, 2024 until 3 weeks ago, our government was shut down. Yeah, did that stop Carney getting billions of dollars outside of Parliament? No. So you start reading his book, you start to see what he's doing, you start understanding that guy was on the board of the WEF. He was a special envoy for the UN. He is a massive globalist banker with ties to all those organizations, to one world government. How do you implement a one world government social credit system that is worldwide? Are we the ones leading it? No. Are we part of the plan? Yes. And you want to know why? We have one of the highest natural resources in the world with a super small population. You don't think that if you had a one world government, imagine that that's the goal, right? As we've talked about multiple times, I'm a sales engineer by trade, so I deconstruct solution. Tell me what you want, I'll deconstruct it and see if we can put a plan together to reach that. If your plan is to have a one world government, wouldn't you look at Canada as in, ooh, there's so much untapped resources? I would argue that we're the number one country in the world with the most untapped natural resources, and we have a government that don't want to exploit it. Is it done on purpose or not? This is the thing. Even if you don't believe in this shit, even if you don't believe that there's a conspiracy, imagine that the goal is to have a one world government. You need a social credit system. It's already been established. China's been using it for years. You know what it is. Palantir in the US, what Trump is trying to push right now, and what Chris H was talking about earlier, is a way to achieve that goal. Now, am I saying that that's the goal? Who knows? Only time will say. But is it that hard to believe that that's the goal when you start looking at everything that's going on? Just Canada, you look at Bill C2, and John Carpay, that is a constitutional lawyer, is like, this bill shouldn't be called the Strong Border Bill or the Strong Border Act. It should have been called the Surveillance Act. Why? Because the government is trying to get a bunch of powers that they don't have right now without fucking warrants, without them having to prove warrants. And they were even enabling public servants to be able to approach judges to get warrants. It's not even a police officer anymore. It's not even somebody that is working for the police. A public servant could fucking get. They want public servants to be able to obtain warrant from fucking judges. Like, are you kidding me? You work for the government, bitch. You work for me.
Yeah. I mean, and that's like, it's a good segue. We're going to have Chris back next week, is this?
On the 17th,
on the 17th.
Send me those questions.
Yes. I'll have that done by tonight. But yeah, we're going to do the deepest dive yet. We did a deep dive, and then we did a deeper dive, and now we're going to do the deepest dive into Bill C2.
We're deep holing that one.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day,
next week. By the way, that's just because you're saying it on the 17th. Chris Carpay is the president from
next
Center.
Tuesday.
So the 17th, next Tuesday, he is the president. He's the constitutional lawyer and president of the Justice Center for Constitutional Freedoms. His organization have won against the government when it came to lockdown. They had a federal judge admit that it was illegal. The forces that they, like the fact that they enacted the Emergency Act in order to put a stop to the Freedom Convoy. He was part of that suit, and he won. So this is the guy that we're going to have next Tuesday. He is not scared to say what needs to be said, but he always does it from a place of knowledge, which is why we're having him back, because last time I think we were over-prepared for him. Yeah,
we were. But so there was a comment here I wanted to, and it's kind of what you were just talking about, what we were just talking about. And this, like I said, like, even if I don't necessarily think it's all like one giant, masterminded plan, there's clearly something going on. When you see things like this, Angry Beaver says, anyone noticed during the riots that there are big sacks of perfect throwing rocks in every corner?
Yeah.
Might as well be Walmart sponsors at this point, sell limited edition shirts. Yeah. And I mean, that is, I've seen pictures of, like, bricks perfectly lined up.
Stacked. Right off the pallets. They removed the fucking wooden pallet is almost underneath it. They removed the plastic.
So clearly there's money being put into this. It's being planned on some degree. And really, I think it's an interesting debate and discussion, just like to go down, like kind of what we were just doing, to talk about where it might be coming from. But that's really all we need to know we need to push back. We don't really, even if there's nothing else beyond that, we know that it's being funded, it's being by someone, it's being planned by someone, and it's bad. That's, if all we agree on is that, then we're agreeing on 95% of the important stuff that we need to be pushing back against this stuff. Because that is,
we will agree on that small portion to make you feel better. Because it's a lot worse than that, bro.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, and it's bad enough. There's a good
reason why I want acreage. I want a small house on a lot of acreage in the middle of nowhere in a climate that I can grow food and hunt year round.
Yeah.
There's a good reason why I'm a fan of the South.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, there's no place to run. There's no place you can run. All I can do is maybe be left alone as much as I can for my lifetime, if that's possible.
Yeah, it's all. I guess it's probably best you can hope for.
Yeah, probably.
And yeah, everyone sort of, as Angry Kane says, no, someone financed it.
Of course it is.
Angry Beaver says
it's highly organized. What's
Yes.
going on there? The LA riots are not just a bunch of students that are pissed off.
no.
And those packs of bricks that you're talking about, the same thing happened during BLM. The same thing happened during Antifa protests. Do you even remember when BLM took over a few square block of Minnesota? Like how you know as well as I do that would have been very easy for the military to show up and say, "Hey,
fuck yeah, yeah."
But yet they let it
They're
go.
terrified. They won't do it. Yeah, it's like in
Timmy
Seattle.
Tampon wanted nothing to do with it. Oh, it's not. It was.
Oh, are you talking about Seattle?
Seattle.
Okay, yeah, they had their own It's like a 2 blocks that was just completely blocked off.
That's what I'm talking about.
Cops weren't allowed there, and it turned out there was like major criminal activity going on. Lots of rapes, lots of drug dealing.
No.
Yeah, right. I know, right?
It wasn't a utopia.
Yeah, it wasn't a communist utopia where everyone was equal. No, it wasn't. It was just
the best part of that was that the first thing they did is build walls around it, and they had the audacity to tell Trump that walls don't fix anything. Cool story, bro.
That's right. Wise guy just commenting on what we were talking about the Muslims, said everything Muslims do to intimidate those around them is taught in the Quran and the Hadith is organized infiltration backed by traitors and government. Yeah, that's correct. I think just because I like to clarify, like, it's not every single Muslim, and I don't have an issue with Muslims specifically, moderate Muslims. The problem is moderate Muslims do not have a voice in the Muslim culture right now. They're being silent while the radicals are the ones who are pushing the agenda, and it absolutely is an agenda. Islam needs to be thought of not just as a religion, but as a political system, a political activist group, and they have a plan. There is an agenda to spread it and to dominate. They do not want to live in a diverse, tolerant society. They want to live in a society where they dominate, and they will let everyone else live depending on how much deference you pay Islam. Ideally, they want you to convert to Islam, but if you don't, you can pay something called the jizya, which is kind of a ridiculous name, but that is essentially this is what happens anytime historically Muslims have become the dominant identity group. Is they go on a campaign where they either force you to pay money, you either convert to Islam, you pay the jizya when they'll leave you alone, or they kill you. I mean, that's really your 3 options.
And it's not that hard to believe, because just look at what happened with the woke movement and the liberals and the Democrats. The woke movement is not the biggest portion of liberals and Democrats, yet they have the loudest fucking.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But see how it's the same thing. What you're talking about with the moderate Muslims and the Muslims that actually follow the Quran, they're not the loudest voices, but the extremists are. Same thing with woke and liberals / Democrats. The woke have been in power for a very long time now, and that's all you hear. That's why a lot of liberals are like, "Hey, what the fuck is going on here?" Like,
100%.
I'm not for this at all. But there's no difference. It's the exact same fucking thing.
Exactly. Like I know there are modern Muslims out there, but they can't. They're silent. They can't speak up, because right now it's the radicals that have they've got the power. They are the ones who are dictating the movement. Just like, as you said, not every liberal is a far left woke idiot, but it's the far left woke idiots who are driving the agenda and having their way. Basically, they're pushing what they want, and the rest of them are too weak to speak out. Or if they like me, a liberal who does speak out, I'm basically excommunicated. I'm no longer welcome I'm not a liberal in good standing in many of their eyes.
But the same thing is real for me as a conservative.
Yeah.
I'm calling out the conservatives all the fucking time after years of calling out the liberals and the Democrats. And yet I'm the bad guy now. Yeah. I'm the bad guy because I wouldn't vote for Pierre Poilievre. I'm the bad guy for saying that Pierre Poilievre is a fucking weak-ass leader, and my newborn son will have harder poops than he was standing up for our rights. I'm being dismantled and called names because I don't believe that Pierre Poilievre is a conservative. He's just a fucking liberal and sheep's clothing. Yet, it's the fucking case. Even you as a liberal, you're looking at Pierre Poilievre and you're like, oh, wow, where was that during your campaign?
Yeah.
You're a fucking liberal. So imagine me as a conservative. I'm looking at him and I'm like, hey, bro, what the fuck? But it's as hard, it's as hard for you to convince the liberals that woke is not the way as it is for me to convince conservatives that Pierre Poilievre is a liberal.
Yeah. People, they don't want to, they don't want to, they don't want to believe. But I mean, that's why we're political orphans, and that's why we've created this carved out this space for us and people like us. And that's why I think this community is as great as it is. Chris H says,
before you take that, I just want to say Detective Gaines, he's not born yet. I'm just saying. I know that they will be. He'll be born within the next couple of month. But
that's crazy.
Is that
technically, it could be any day. Is it at that stage where?
She's at 35 weeks. So basically, my wife could knock on my shoulder now. Saying, yeah, my water broke. I got to go.
Oh shit.
So yeah, but soon
you'll be like, we got an hour left in the show, babe. I'll
hold it in. Come on, woman, stop being a pussy.
Yeah,
hold it
in. And also Gaines, I think I don't think I've seen you yet this week, so welcome back. We weren't here for Monday, so maybe that's why. Chris says, great work on exposing Bill C2. Bill C2 is scaring people on the left and right across the political spectrum. Yeah, that's funny, eh? Yeah, it's funny. Although it's scaring the left because they're like, oh no, it's so hard on immigrants.
Not for the same reasons.
Yeah, definitely not the same reasons. So do you want to take a few more, or should we just move on?
Shall we just take a video? Because I think it's going to be fun.
Okay.
I haven't watched it yet. Like, there's some videos. We do our best work when we react to stuff we haven't seen. Yeah. And I believe that this might be one of them. It's 2 minutes long, and the caption is, let me just put it on the screen first, because to me, I think it's going to be funny, but I don't know. I'm assuming it's going to be funny. That's the intent. But basically, the caption of the video says, Canada wasn't ready for Pierre Poilievre. Oh, hold on. Bazinga. So let's see what he has to say, or what they have to say.
I think he was in a really tough spot. And I think the people that think the way that you and I do, I think we're actually a pretty small population. I think the majority of Canadians are liberal. I think they are super brainwashed by CBC, and most Canadians are very anti-American. I think he would have lost way more conservative votes. And at the end of the day, it actually really wasn't a failure, because he got more conservative votes than we've seen in, was it decades? So I don't actually think that was a failure. I think he did better than any conservative politician's done in a very, very long time. And if he leaned into Trump, he would have lost all the moderates. And I really got to witness that firsthand, kind of volunteering for the Conservative Party. Like, there's tons of people in that party that don't think the way that we do. Like, conservatives in Canada are liberal. It's a small L liberal. We're just like better with money and common sense and all the things. We're not like Republicans. So if he did act like a Republican, then there would have been way more of just putting him side by side. Carney is essentially the same party, same person, and I think we would have just lost way more votes. So what was the right thing for him to do? I actually have no idea what the right thing is for him to do. I think we got a lot of wins out of that. We had a ton of young people voting Conservative, and those, maybe he could have squeaked out a few more young people by leaning into that kind of stuff, but he would have then lost the older people that were Conservative, that don't want to be associated with that. So it's really hard. I don't
think it's as hard as she's making it out to be.
No, I have no idea who that person is. I've never seen. I thought I had seen her before, but I don't know who she is. And all I can think of is I wish I had a partner.
Wrong.
No, the only reason he lost is because he's not a fucking conservative, and he didn't lean in conservative values.
Yeah.
Now he has the balls to say, "Oh, we need to do something about immigration." Where the fuck were you a couple of months ago when that would have won the prime minister spot for you? Now you're jobless. But you had all the power. No men and women sport. We need to put a stop on immigration because it's causing our housing crisis. It's causing our healthcare crisis. We need to say no to Muslims blocking intersections. We need to say yes to Canadians. We need to stop sending money overseas and take care of Canadians. Pow, that's it. That's your platform. That's all I want you to talk about for the next month. And guess what? Do all the podcasts possible. Whoever invites you on their podcast, Patrick Bet-David, Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Who else was there? What's the name of the Fox guy? The old Fox guy.
Carlson, Tucker.
Tucker Carlson. Same thing.
Yeah.
He had all the opportunity to do something. Guess what? He didn't do it. There's only one person to blame, is fucking lack of courage. That's what's to blame.
Yeah, even the premise of it was ridiculous. Like, Canada's not ready for Poilievre, as if he's just brand, like, completely new type of politician who we've never seen. The problem is he's exactly the same politician that we've seen for 50 years. That's the problem. It's that we're sick of that. It's not that we're not ready for it. But, you know, I think you hit on something there that, like, you know, he should have been out there speaking against immigration, but conservatives, they cede so much ground to the libs when the liberals say, oh, the right is against immigration because they're racist, and all the right says is, no, we're not racist, but we're against immigration. And like, when they should be not even accepting that premise as legitimate and say, actually, no, you know, the housing crisis that we're in, it's because of our immigration policies. You know how our healthcare has gone down the shitter and you can't see a fucking doctor for 2 months? It's because of our immigration policies. Change the entire topic, change the discussion. Don't just agree with their premise that you're racist because you oppose immigration by saying, oh, no, we're not racist. Say it's not about that at all, and you're a race-baiting fucking grifter. It's about this bread and butter issues. It's about dollars and cents in your pockets. People understand that, and that's how he would have actually moved the needle. And then he didn't. He got his ass kicked, and then to say, I don't know, to say, oh, it was a win. He got more vote. Really though, he lost his fucking seat. He was on pace to. He lost an enormous lead. There's no way you can call this a win. Now, even if you want it for the argument's sake, say agree with him. Okay, there were lots of factors like the Trump thing and Carney played Trump again, but whatever. Okay, that's fine. But like, then he should have been out there every single day since that election, putting his face out there, making it known. We made a reel, or you made a reel last week about this exact conversation. I read all the comments, most of them for conservatives, and they're like, oh, well, you're just not watching his YouTube videos. You're not watching he's out there making a YouTube clip. Exactly, I'm not. Most people are not fucking on Pierre Poilievre's YouTube channel just waiting for the fucking next video. You need him to be out there so that when you just look on social media, when you scroll down Twitter, when you turn your TV on, his face is there. If he's out there every day on his own fucking channel, that's the point. That's the problem with it. That's why it feels like he's not out there.
And he had all the opportunities in the world to win.
Yes.
But his soft stance on everything lost him the election. It is not the fault of Carney for pinning him against Trump. He did not handle the trouble. I want a leader that can look at issues and say, you know what? I'm going to roll with the punches and fucking figure it out. Because one thing's for sure, shit is going to happen. Leaders are supposed to be able to deal with bullshit. I cannot control what other people do to me. I can control what I do as a reaction to what people do to me. And this is what Pierre Poilievre should have done. And the conservatives out there need to stop fucking apologizing for him being weak. He was weak and he lost. Yep. Plain and fucking simple. Even today, we showed a video of him talking against population growth in Canada. He didn't even fucking believe his own speech. Who's to blame? Who's to blame? Is it Mark Carney's fault? That even now he's weak on his approach? No, it's him. He's a weak leader, just like Andrew Scheer was a weak leader, just like Arian O'Toole was a weak leader. We just need a strong fucking conservative leader in Canada that has the fucking balls to say what we're all thinking. Plain and fucking simple, and I won't apologize either. Fuck! It's not that fucking complicated. Jesus.
No,
I mean, is it too much to ask for a man that's manly? Is that too much to ask? I'm fucking tired of seeing weak, fucking middled politician too. How about the guy that actually goes to the gym, that eat well, that actually shoots guns?
Takes care of himself. Yeah.
Is that too much to ask to have a fucking conservative guy that looks like he can actually fight, that he can actually defend his fucking family, that it's actually manly, not fucking Millhouse in a suit? Is that possible? Fuck.
Sorry,
guys.
It's
Sorry,
I mean, it's a classic
God
example of snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. You know, he had everything going for him, and he lost it. He probably could have done nothing. Well, no, he probably would have. That wouldn't have been good either. But like,
Is that not what he did?
Yeah, basically, right. The bare minimum, the things that we've been saying. Go out there, have a consistent message, and pick 2 or 3 main points: immigration, housing, healthcare, and in fact, all 3 of them are connected. So you can talk about all 3 of them at once and just hammer that every fucking day. You know, when we brought up this complaint, the defenders were saying, "Oh, well, I heard him say it in a speech." Well, yeah, I'm sure he touched on it once. You know, that's the point. He talked about every single thing once, just hit it so many times that you're sick of it, that you never want to hear it again. That's how like any propagandist knows that's how you get a message across. Fucking repetition again, and again.
And especially, you know, do you remember when we were first talking about this during the campaign, somebody from the comments said, "Oh yeah, but he talks about that all the time." I'm like, okay, are you tired of it yet? Because if you're not tired of him, if you follow everything he posts and you're tired of him speaking about it, guess what? That's exactly how it should be. Because the average viewer that doesn't follow him does not know what he stands for. Can you tell me, as a liberal that wasn't following politics, let's imagine a liberal, just your average Canadian that is not plugged into politics the way we are.
Yep.
What did Pierre Poilievre stand for?
Yeah, I mean,
I guarantee you that they're going to answer things that Mark Carney said about Pierre Poilievre, not what Pierre Poilievre said about himself, his policies, and his views. The average Canadian, if you ask them what Pierre Poilievre stood for, I guarantee you that all they're going to say is whatever the TV told them or whatever Mark Carney told him. Why? Because Pierre Poilievre never had the balls to go on any other platform than his own platform, or a platform that's already talking to the conservative that are already voting for him. He had all the opportunities to do it. He didn't do it. And conservatives in Canada need to fucking apologize for his lack of backbone and just admit that he fucked up. He didn't stand up for anything. And my point has been proven since he's lost. I've said this during the campaign that he was weak. And he's even proving it right now that he's weak, because he's still fucking weak as shit. And his speech are no fucking better than they were during the campaign. He still doesn't believe what he's preaching. Why the fuck would people vote for him?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously, you know, he needs to do what we're doing and beating the dead horse and just fucking hammer the way we're hammering him again and again and again and again.
He's the fucking dead horse.
That's what he needed to do during the campaign.
He's the dead horse, and I feel that I'm beating a dead horse right now. Because I've been saying the same fucking thing for 2.5 months now, ever since the fucking campaign started. And yet here we are, and people are still releasing those fucking garbage videos. Oh, Canada wasn't ready for getting
not ready. Like as if he's this like transcendent politician, a once in a generation. He's literally a cookie cutter of every single politician that's ever existed. There's
dude's only had one job in his life. Politician. That's it. He's a career politician. You're going to tell me that he reinvented the wheel? He proved to us that career politicians are fucking weak sauce.
Yeah. He's literally everything. Like, it's not that Canada wasn't ready. It's that Canada's just sick of exactly
Pierre Poilievre wasn't ready.
Yeah.
It's Pierre Poilievre that wasn't ready, not Canada.
Yeah. As Gaines says, propping Poilievre up after his loss is hurting the party. Yeah, and I think you could have even given him a chance after the loss to see how he would react to it. But at this point, it's clear that he is not up to the task. Like, there's no vigor whatsoever. There's no dynamism. There's no leadership. There's no aspect of, you know, yes, I want to follow that guy. There's no inspirational anything. The only time he even said anything that actually seemed like it would resonate would be in that speech. And it sounded like he was fucking giving a speech at a funeral or something. So, yeah, I think at this point, The only argument I could see as like keeping him in is just who else do you go to? And that's a valid argument because who else do you like? You go back to Scheer? No. Doug Ford, I don't think is any sort of answer. I keep saying Danielle Smith would be perfect, but she's obviously not going to.
This guy.
Who's this?
If you don't follow Ron Schneiser,
okay,
follow this guy. He's on X. He's on Instagram.
It's a great name.
Schenzer. He's ex-police officer. He's a martial artist. I know this guy personally. Like I was training with him when I was in Toronto. We've punched each other in the face.
Oh, did we watch a clip of him a little while back?
Yes.
Okay.
He was part of like right here. I'm not going to play the video, but he was part of Pierre Poilievre's campaign. Okay. He was trying to become, if I'm not mistaken, MP in Oakville, Ontario. And since he lost, he's been posting and posting and posting, and obviously he's not as outspoken as I am. You still need to be. No, don't fucking cut me in the middle. He can wait a minute. Don't cut me in the middle of a speech, bro. No, but you guys need to listen to this guy. Go check this guy out on X and on Instagram because the dude is common sense. He's not as outspoken as I would like him to be. He's still politically correct by Canada standard, but he would be 10 times the leader that of Pierre Poilievre is. No questions about it.
Yeah, Wise Guy says David Bexty, and all I know of David Bexty is that speech
like David Bexty.
We played. That's enough for me. Like that
Andrew Gunn. Gunn. Was it Andrew Gunn, his name? I keep on saying Andrew Gunn because I know a guy that's called Andrew Gunn. But Gunn, something Gunn.
Was it Gunn? That's kind of a badass name. But
his last name is Gunn something.
Dropped a tip there for that rant. He says right on point.
Just
Nico,
the
keep
tip.
on going. Yeah,
Aaron Gunn.
Slips you just the tip. That's actually a badass name, Aaron Gunn. Wise Guy says Andrew Lawton. I've not heard of him.
Andrew Lawton, that's the other guy.
Okay.
Andrew Lawton, I need to make a video with one of the speeches that he made because I believe that it was him. Andrew Lawton was one. There was another guy, another younger guy, like mid-30s-ish, that left a massive fucking speech during Parliament 2 weeks ago or last week. Mm-hmm. Fuck. They have great candidates that were elected, yet why is Pierre Poilievre still there? Why is what the fuck is his name? Andrew Scheer still the leader? Like he lost. Yeah. Kick him out. There's a good reason why he lost because he's also fucking weak as shit. So they have at least 3-4 guys like David Bexty, Andrew Lawton, Aaron Gunn, Ron. Those are all great choices that would do a 10. Well, Ron can't because he didn't win. But all of the 3 guys, David Bexty, Andrew Lawton, and Aaron Gunn, they're elected. Why the fuck are they not representing the Conservative Party instead of Pierre Poilievre?
Yeah. I mean, some of those names, the ones I know, they sound acceptable. It certainly can't be. I just don't see like for the people listening out there who are Poilievre supporters. Obviously your opinion, your voice is just as valid here as anyone else's. But I'm curious, like what is it about him that kind of grabs you? Like what is it that you've seen that you think this is our guy? Because I voted for him, mostly just because it was mostly a vote against Carney, and not even a vote against Carney. It was a vote against the Liberals. But I don't know. I don't see anything that seems inspiring. But everyone has their own what they value and what they want in a leader. But I would be curious to see sort of who are the people propping him up, like what their argument is. I don't believe that Canada just wasn't ready for him. Like he was.
I think you and I, as much as I dislike the guy, I think we can both agree on that one. That Canada, Canada wasn't the problem. Pierre Poilievre was the problem.
Yes. 100%. Squirrel Nuts repost the stream. Thank you, sir. Lots of comments in the that are conversations between listeners. So I'm trying to.
That's what we want.
Exactly.
Sorry for the rant. This is one thing. Pierre Poilievre is becoming one of my one of my rants.
Your
Like,
ranting triggers, your rant triggers.
he just bothers me so much. It would have been so easy for him to win if he stood up for something. And now I don't like when people apologize for somebody's failures. And he's still, you know what I would love to see from Pierre Poilievre is just a live stream, stick his phone on a tripod, sits at his desk and just say, you know what, guys, I fucked up. I
Yeah,
messed up.
that
I
is so much
should've-
value. That is so much like power. If for a politician to say something like that, and they're all terrified to admit they ever made a mistake, but like
Why?
people value that. People say, oh, okay, like people understand we're all human, right? We all make mistakes. They will cut mistakes.
I've called out our mistakes on our own show.
Yes.
When we said something that was wrong and I found out that it was wrong, I actually came back and admitted, hey guys, we said this was wrong. Here's the real information.
Yeah.
But how much respect would I gain for Pierre Poilievre? As much as I dislike him, I could say, you know what, bro, good for you. At least, yeah, you're finally starting to show balls. Because, you know, Carney's never going to do that. Carney is never going to admit to his mistakes. He has his minister minion do his bidding for him. But imagine a Pierre Poilievre, like I said, just pick up his cell phone, just say, hey, guys, I fucked up. I should have done this. I should have done that. But you know what? I get another chance in August, and I'll make sure to fight for you guys. I'll make sure to fight for the people in Alberta, because at the end of the day, he's going to be representing an Albertan riding, so he needs to represent them in Ottawa first and foremost, because that's his job as an MP. But the point is that he has the power right now to say that he fucked up, to apologize for his mistakes, to say, you know what? I blew a massive lead. I need to stop blaming other people. For the people out there, stop making excuses for me, because it's all on me. Let's move forward.
Yeah. There'll be a
That's
lot of
simple.
power in that move.
Shit. Yep.
I just, you know, if any politician should be taking that sort of angle, I think it's him. I don't know. He's just not making a strong case at all, in my opinion. And all the while, he still seems so entitled to this. Like, so, I mean, he should be acting like he's on thin ice, frankly. He should be.
He is.
Like, yeah, he is. But he doesn't. I don't think he thinks that he is. I think he thinks he's like perfectly secure. And I think that's
probably what happens when you have a very nice pension already and you're barely 40. I'm not even sure he's 40 years old, and he's already
he's pretty
has
young.
a full pension. How old is Pierre Poilievre? Yeah, he's 46 years old. Hey, he's a good-looking 46-year-old. Oh, that's one. See, there you go. That's one thing I can say about him. He's a
one nice
good-looking
thing.
46 years old. But yeah. Oh man, it just fucking blows my mind. Once again, blows my mind. Yeah. Angry Canadian is absolutely fucking right. 3 words. I was wrong. Buzzing.
Yeah. It's. I mean, it's very powerful. Like, obviously, if you keep fucking up, then it becomes, you just look like a fuck up. But just to say, listen, I was wrong. I made a mistake, and I'm going to spend the rest of my time as leader trying to earn back your trust and proving to you that you've made the right choice by putting your faith in me.
I love what Sylvie's saying.
Yeah,
he's at the bottom of the lake.
He's already there.
She's not wrong. I agree, and unfortunately, like Angry Beaver is saying, if a politician ever took accountability, that's the first seal of Armageddon. Oh Jesus! Wow. Well, it's Armageddon, bro. Jesus is coming back if a politician takes accountability. Isn't it sad? Dang.
Yeah. Well, it would be so, you know, the fact that would be so, you know, just such a powerful political strategy. You know, it's shocking that none of them do it, but someone will. Someone will just it's authenticity at the end of the day is what people really, really want to see. They want to see someone who actually, you know, is trying to get it right, has some values that are not just whatever the latest polling says. And when you fuck up, you own up to it and say, I'll do better. It's not rocket science.
Nope. No, it isn't, but I don't see him ever doing it, unfortunately.
No.
Want to change from this rant to
let's
another
jump
one?
on. Let's rant about something else.
Hold on. What do we got here? I'm just Are we ready for Mark? Are we ready for Pierre Poilievre? Fuck, I can't believe it. I think I need something funny. Hold
All
on.
right.
I got something funny here. Because once again, this just kind of is it. Do you think it's us as Canadians that don't like to take accountability?
Oh no. I think that's a human trait to a certain extent. Some people are better at it than others, but I think you're going to find that pretty much anywhere.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Because now I'm talking about how Pierre Poilievre does not want to take accountability.
So I'm just looking at this
And-
comment here. Angry Canadian. My daughter just
Oh.
said, "Who's Angry Beaver?" Your ex-wife. That's really funny.
So check this out. This is a video I found a couple of days ago. I just didn't have time to speak about it, but it's basically Loblaws and Walmart set to hike prices on more than 6,000 products. But what I want you to listen to is who they blame for the problem.
Okay.
Loblaw is warning customers to expect a surge of tariff-related price increases. Loblaw's pre-tariff inventory is running out, and some 6,000 of its 80,000 products could be impacted in the coming months. Loblaw says customers will notice changes to categories including natural foods and health and beauty products. And Walmart, too, is warning it must raise prices due to higher costs from tariffs implemented by U.S. President Donald Trump. Loblaw.
So basically, Global News is blaming Donald Trump for higher prices in Canada. And Mark Nixon, which is who I took the video from, says something very smart that it seems I need to repeat it, but American tariffs equal Americans pay. Canadian tariffs equal Canadian pay. So basically, Trump is not causing tariffs in Canada, just so you know. Like, just so you know, unless they import everything to the US and then it crosses over to Canada. But again, that would be our problem. Why are we not importing them directly instead of being dependent on the US? I thought the whole point of Mark Carney winning is for us to be self-reliant. But no matter what, I love how Global News is taking any chances they get to blame Trump for something. So it's not just a left or a right thing. Conservatives are making excuses for Pierre Poilievre. Left-leaning media is making excuses for our high price, for Walmart and Loblaw's high prices, and they're blaming that on Trump. Like, is this real? Like, are we really that fucking stupid? Because I can't believe that people believe this shit.
Yeah,
Are we
wow.
serious here?
Yeah, it's just how the media works. It's everything's Trump. Everything's blame Trump. I mean, that's in Canada. That's how Trump Carney got elected. They're just absolutely terrified, the boomers, about Donald Trump.
Did that make you laugh? Man, I didn't think it worked. Huh?
No, I mean, it's more of just like more of the same. Certainly isn't. I don't find it surprising at all, and I didn't find it funny. If anything, it's a bit sad.
Sorry, man, that was not my intent. I thought that would be funny.
No, it's all good.
Guess not, huh? Guess it wasn't.
Trying to take some. Oh geez, all the comments are all. Everyone's just kind of talking to each other, which is cool. Love when you see that.
Do you feel irrelevant yet?
Yeah. That's also good. I'm happy we can just be the fucking background music, the elevator music, while everyone else, all the action happens in the comments. I don't mind that, as long as you guys are here. That's all that matters.
You know what? Let's talk about something that made me create content, and that's why I started creating content in the first place. And I think that a lot of people are somewhat fans of RFK, right? Right?
Yep.
Most people are.
Right? I like the guy. I mean, there's definitely people who don't like him.
For the people out there, people listening to this, are you a fan? Are you guys fan of RFK? Because I'm somewhat of a fan, somewhat. He's still, to me, I still consider him a career politician, considering he's a Kennedy. So he basically is as a career politician as it's possible to be, considering he's a Kennedy. But at the same time, do you guys like the dude?
I mean, I like the guy. There's definitely a lot of libs who do not like him, who think he's like the the Antichrist, Angry Canadian. Oh wait, there's guys, Rob and Nico here. I never heard. Yeah, Ron and Nick. Who are those guys? No, it's Rob and Nico. Oh yeah, whatever. They're not important enough to remember.
Yeah, Ron and Nick. Yeah, I like it. Do you trust anybody, Sylvie? I don't think I've ever seen you say that you trusted one single person. Question out there. Is there somebody in the public eye that you trust at all? And it's not a critique, because I don't trust 99.99% of people either. So I feel you. Because I've been asked the other day, hey, if you had the chance to speak to someone, who would it be? I'm like, living? I don't really fucking care. If I had the chance to speak to somebody that's dead, Nikola Tesla, Jesus, and what's his name? Shit, how am I forgetting his name? Psychologist. Carl Jung. Jesus, Carl Jung, and Nikola Tesla. Yeah, this is who I want to speak to. But they're all dead, right? See, Sylvie, I thought so. Good question.
Chris H says, I'm mixed on RFK Jr. I was with him at one point. Now I disagree with him because of his foreign policy views. What are his foreign policy views? I don't know that I'm too familiar with them. I do get the impression that, I don't know, I feel like he's kind of I don't know that he's a high character guy, and I don't have any specific thing to base that on. It's just my gut. I think, I think he's obviously got his one issue that he's very passionate about, but I think the rest of them, he'll kind of go wherever. I don't think he feels too strongly. Now, he might consider that being pragmatic, but it's other than the vaccine stuff. It is hard to know what he really stands for.
You know what? Let me show you this, because you pretty much said it bang on the head. What the video is on, okay. But it's basically, if you guys haven't heard, this week Robert Kennedy decided that he removed all the main advisors sitting on the board of the CDC and literally fired 17 advisors from the CDC committee. So he basically removed every fucking person on the advisory board of the CDC. And here's why he did it. So listen to this. Let me know what you think.
In terms of the changes to ACIP, this has been a long time coming. More than 2 decades ago, Congress investigated ACIP. The Government Oversight Committee found that, for example, that year, which was 2003, they gave one example that 4 out of the 5 people who added the rotavirus vaccine to the schedule had direct financial interest in that vaccine. One of those individuals voted the rotavirus onto the vaccine and sold his rotavirus vaccine that he had in development for $186 million. He said he won the lottery. That year, Congress said that 97% of the people on ACIP had undisclosed conflicts. People have known about this for years. Probably the worst example of malevolent malpractice has been adding all of these new products to this schedule without doing pre-licensing safety studies. In 1986, there were 11 vaccines on the schedule. Today, a compliant child must take between 69 and 92 vaccines to stay in school in some states. And not one of them has been safety tested in a pre-licensing placebo-controlled trial. And that is just malpractice. So the people who were in charge of that are now gone. And we're going to bring people onto the ACIP panel, not anti-vaxxers. We're bringing people on who are credentialed scientists, who are highly credentialed physicians, who are going to do evidence-based medicine, who who are going to be objective and who are going to follow the science and make critical public health determinations for our children based upon the best science.
And one of those people was chosen is none other than Dr. Robert Malone, one of the main person that invented the mRNA vaccine, who's been accused by vaxxers that he's an anti-vaxxers, that he's one of the worst thing to ever happen. Yet RFK is going to put him as an advisor to the CDC. But for the people, this is something I talk about a lot on Instagram. I'm associated with VCC Canada. I can't say their name here because that's going to get the channel in trouble.
Yeah.
I'm becoming associated with the NCI, which is another big organization in that same world. But most people don't know this, that in Canada and the US, a kid must get around 100 fucking vaccine. By the time, if he keeps to the schedule, new kids today will get about 100 vaccine, just over 100 until the age of 18 years. And right now, 69 to 92 vaccine just to stay in school in certain state. Like right now, my wife is pregnant. Do you know that they recommend, they wanted my wife to get whoop whoop when she's pregnant. They want the K shot, they want the whoop whoop, the same one that they've been pushing for years during her pregnancy. We're both unvaccinated, and that's how I started creating content, because I lost my career over this. But most people don't know those numbers, and I've posted about this, and we got some videos going viral between myself and a guy called Ted Kuntz, which is the president of VCC.
Yeah.
And those numbers are not exaggerated. Those numbers are low. From my calculation, you're looking at just over 100 if you look at the CDC schedule. If you take them all as per their schedule, by the age of 18, your kids nowadays will have more than 100 injections, when in 1986, it was 11.
Okay, I was going to say, like, what am I missing here? Like, because kids are not getting 100 injections. Are they putting multiple ones in?
So some of them are multiple, but yes, they are getting about 100
actual injections. That's crazy. Yeah, because I was gonna say, because I don't remember ever. I remember getting a couple, but yeah, I guess
you didn't. You're in your 40s. You didn't. I didn't either.
Yeah.
I
remember
either.
Yeah, I get fucked. That's crazy. That's wild. What are they all for?
Oh, bro, there's a massive lift. Again, I got to be very careful in the way that I approach this for YouTube purposes, because we all know, as per YouTube, that vaccines are safe and effective. And guys like RFK, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They're all full of shit. They're just anti-vaxxers, propagandists. So I got to be careful in the way I approach this. But it's insane when you start looking at just the sheer amount of injections that you receive, the amount of whoop whoop that you receive, and then you start looking at the fact that, do you know that those whoop whoop have never been tested in a double-blind study? Do you know what a double-blind study is, by the way?
Yes.
So for the people that don't, a double-blind study is when you have a group of individuals, let's say half of the groups will receive the whoop.
Yeah, it's like
half
the gold
of them
standard,
will not.
Right?
It is the gold standard, but the reason they call it double-blind study is that not only is half of them getting the medication, half of them are getting a placebo, so they're not getting shit. They don't know. Like, the patients don't know, but it's a double-blind study because the people that are giving the medication do not know either. So everybody's in the dark. They don't know who's doing what. And then you can review the information. You can review the results and say, okay, what really happened? But do you know that all those whoop whoop have not been tested in a double-blind study? And that part of Big Pharma is the only thing in the world that is protected by the government, that you cannot sue them for malpractice. And if you do, the government is the one paying for it. It's not even Big Pharma. It's insane. When you look at it, they have a license to print money. It's insane. And that is a nonpartisan issue. If you remember during the whoop whoop era, Fox News and MSNBC were saying the same thing. You've seen those montage of videos where this episode has been brought to you by Pfizer.
Yeah.
And it was on both sides of the equation. They were saying the exact same fucking thing. So, which is another problem I have with Pierre Poilievre. He never stood for my right.
Yeah.
You never stood up for my right, motherfucker. And I'm healthier than all you fuckers out there. I take better care of myself than 99.9% of people. I'm fucking 43 years old with abs. 99% of fucking 20-year-olds don't even have that. Do you compare yourself to people sometimes that you're walking down, you meet somebody, and it's like, hey, I'm 45. God damn, bro, you look like you're 60. Like, what the fuck's wrong? Have you looked at the guys of your age around you? You're like, you and I are the same age? Like, what the fuck have you been doing? You've been sleeping? What the fuck? Fuck.
Yeah. And no, it is funny though. The fat guy there with the fucking BMI of fucking 85, yeah, or whatever, is telling you that you're the threat to people's health. Just Chris H clarified a little bit about RFK Jr.'s foreign policy stance. He says he's anti-Ukraine war. I like that, but he's hardcore anti-Palestine. His anti-Palestine stance calls into question how he would approach peace and stability in the Middle East as a whole. Yeah, I think anyone who has extreme views on either side, extreme biases for either side, would probably not be an effective, leader in trying to solve that. I don't think he's ever going to become president. I don't think there's any scenario there. No. I don't know. To me, he just gets that vibe of like an empty suit. He'll kind of go wherever the wind blows, and I might be wrong. I'm not basing it on anything. It's just my gut.
Just on his voice alone.
I don't know why he doesn't have just get a. I don't know. It's not your fault. I get that, but like, just get a spokesperson. Like you'll have some mystique if we never hear you. You know what I mean? Like, just the guy behind the scenes.
That's the same reason Maxime Bernier doesn't get elected.
Yeah, it does matter.
Like, of course it does. You should practice. You should sound properly. It doesn't matter that you have an accent, but you should sound proper. You should sound good for people to understand what you're saying. So it does matter. But to go back to who was saying it? Oh, hold on. What's the last comment you showed? It was Chris. It was Chris Sage.
Does anyone believe?
Hold on. I'm not going to show you my abs. If that's where we're going with this, ain't fucking happening. I don't expose my body to anybody else.
Yes.
But to go back to what Chris H was saying, if somebody had the balls to just say, fuck Ukraine, fuck Russia, fuck Palestine, fuck Israel, let's take care of Americans. I don't give a fuck about all those places. They don't impact me on a personal base. They don't do anything for me and the struggling Canadians. How great of a message would that be, right? Fuck other countries. Let's stop getting involved in this bullshit and take care of the people at home. What a fucking concept that would be. And let me clarify, it's not that I don't care about what's going on over there. It's that I have no power over what's going on over there, and I'm tired of my taxpayers' money being spent on other people's problems. Palestine and in the Middle East, call it Palestine, call it Israel, call it all the fucking countries around have been at war for more than 2,000 years. Just read your Bible. They've been at war forever. I ain't gonna fucking change that. So why the fuck do I care?
Yeah. Let's trying to see here. Does Ukraine says, how can anyone be pro or anti-Palestine when Palestine isn't real? Oh, okay. So don't need to go down that road.
I wish Jason was here.
Oh yeah, if Jason were here. Yeah. No, it's just, I mean, I'm with you on that. I just honestly, I don't give a shit about really either side. Both sides are do all kinds of shitty things. I don't think anyone's better. To me, it just seems like an intractable fucking ancient grievance that, I don't know, fix it, don't fix it. I just don't give a shit.
Sylvie, just for your comment, just go back to my Instagram. I used to fight. So there's plenty of pictures with me without a shirt on, except I was literally 60 pounds lighter than I am now. It is disgusting. It is fucking nasty. Have you ever been like 9 or 8% body fat?
I think probably 10 was as low as I've been, but even that was like quite lean. So yeah, well, you're 8%. That's pretty funny.
Probably lower, bro. I look like I got picture. It just popped on my feed this week, and I look like I'm a corpse, man. Literally, no, hold on. I have it right
Let me
here.
see. Yeah, bring it up.
I'm just, it's in a conversation with my wife, and I'm not gonna show
Yes.
who my wife is because she doesn't deserve to get harassed by idiots online. But hold on, I think I got a picture. I just downloaded it. It's bad, man. It's bad. It's not pretty, man. Like, look at anybody with a very low fat percentage. It doesn't look good. It just doesn't. You look like you're a fucking corpse. Like, this is me. This is me when I was still fighting. And like, look at the face.
Jesus, yeah, it's the face, eh? That's the holy hell! Wow. Yeah, I mean, certainly.
No, bro, I had veins in my abs. Like, it's just I got nothing left. Like, I'm like on a 1500 calorie fucking diet, and I'm training twice a day. So yeah, no, there was nothing there. Oh no, there was absolutely nothing there, man. It's sad. It is.
Were you what was that like? Were you doing that because you were fighting, or was it like a show or something?
No, this is fight shape.
Yeah,
this is fight shape. Oh yeah, this has nothing to do with looks.
Yeah.
My dietitian was very clear back then. She's like, I don't give a and she's an IFBB pro. Just to let you know, like the caliber, she competed as one of the best fucking competitors in Canada. And she's like, I don't care what you look like. It's all about weight. Like, I fought as low as 164.5. My last fight, I was 165. I'm 230, just over 230 pounds right now. 165. Why the fuck? Oh yeah, we're talking about this because of Sylvie.
Do we want to grab another mini topic or so before we get off? If you don't have, I've got something I wanted to show.
Well, I'll ask you a question. Is your topic better than Australia banning knives?
Oh no, that is a good one. No, it was just.
I've been wanting to talk about it for like 3 days.
Yeah, we'll do that. We could probably do both though, because this is just about what the Waterloo Board of Education is teaching kids.
Again with them.
Yeah, they're the worst, man. They seem to always.
The police officers that were dancing. That's them.
Yeah, was that them? Okay, yeah, I'll just show this right quick. Then it's not even a full topic. Yeah, it's not even a full topic. It's Yeah, it just I came across this.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Oh, did you see this? Yes, in the Waterloo Region District School Board, their staff are being trained that the word family is a harmful concept and rooted in white supremacy. This is the shit that they're teaching kids. I mean, this goes to what you're saying a few minutes ago. Like, you wouldn't put your kids in school. Dismantling whiteness at Waterloo, Oxford. Words matter. Family identified as harmful by our racialized students. How racist is this? Like, every time every accusation by the woke left is a fucking it's a confession. Like, how racist can you be that pretending that family is a white term? Like, that's frankly disgusting.
You know what? When I see this, it reminds me. You know what? That to me is a compliment, because you're basically telling me that white people still believe in family, and I do. So thank you.
And the thing is, it's not even true. Like, where it says identified as harmful by racialized. I think about your classic Hispanic family. Family's pretty big for those people too. Like, this idea that it's only white people who care about family. Like, even if that were true, frankly that would be a reason to, like, to fucking close the borders to immigration entirely. But I don't believe that only white people care about family. I think it's racist as fuck to suggest that only white people have happy families or care about family. Like, it's just It's just disgusting, woke left, self-hating bullshit, just looking to create racial tensions where it doesn't exist. And this is shit they're teaching to our kids. You know, if my kid was younger, I probably would reconsider putting him in school too. But it does seem like Waterloo School District specifically comes up a lot in these conversations.
Oh, it's you know, there's a good reason why our son's not going to public school. This type of indoctrination bullshit ain't fucking happening. Never gonna happen. My kids are not gonna get exposed to that bullshit. That's why they're not gonna have social media until they're old enough to understand what it is. They're not gonna have cell phones. They're not gonna be exposed to that garbage. Absolutely not. I will. You know that picture of the rainbow, and then you have a father and a mother that are holding an umbrella, protecting their children from the woke madness. This is what I think about. Like I got somebody that sent me. I posted that as a story yesterday, but somebody sent it to me, and it's a picture of a guy in a t-shirt, and it's a big black guy, and all it said is, "My job as a father is to make sure my kids are not liberal." I'm like, zing.
That's a thing, all right. But certainly, like, I would say woke liberal, but yeah, I would agree with that.
But that's what he meant. Like, it's an American. Obviously, it's American.
Yep.
I'm just trying to see if I can find. I wanted to show you something. Oh, yes! I posted it as a story yesterday. Just what you said there.
Yeah.
Just reminded me of this. That guy is awesome. I don't know what his name is. He always pops on my feed. He's a comedian, obviously.
Okay.
And he kind of does dad jokes. That's pretty much what he does all the time. So do you hold on. Pow. Let me see. Oh, they're so stupid.
Dip my Oreos in water.
Hold on. Can I reload this? Oh, fuck, that's annoying. Okay, there you go. Now I got it. So listen to this and tell me that family is a white term.
See the secret? I dip my Oreos in water.
Daddy never came home with the milk.
It's the one and only Nico Double G.
What do you say? Daddy never came home with milk?
It's a black basketball player that's like, I dipped my Oreos in water.
Yeah, which is
the wife is like, why? Because Daddy never came back with the milk.
That's really funny. But yeah,
funny. That guy's hilarious. Like his jokes are bored. I can't get away with his joke, but he's Asian / Filipino / the mix that he is, so he gets away with a lot of shit. But yeah, that dude, if you've never seen that guy, he's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. I haven't seen him before, but yeah, that's funny. So let's jump over to the Australia banning knives. Let's see what that nonsense is all about.
So just to give a bit of context,